Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you to PERSEP II organizers. Today, on behalf of my team, I will be presenting a quantitative study entitled Pedagogical Practices During the COVID-19 Pandemic Among Teachers in the Interior and Island Schools in Sabah. My presentation covers 10 aspects from the background to the concluding remarks. Looking back to our recent experience with the COVID-19 pandemic, every educator is forced to use a variety of innovation, and teaching methodology became technologically based while students needed new learning environment. The question that begs an answer is, how do the Sabah teachers fare, especially those in the interior and island schools? Past studies have indicated that certain shortcomings are unavoidable, while the effect of the lockdown on learning among 232 undergraduate and postgraduate respondents in West Bengala, India, that a high percentage face depression, poor internet connectivity, and non-conducive learning at home, especially those in remote and inaccessible area. Hence, as there is no known research on the teacher's perspective from the interior and island schools on their pedagogical practices done in Sabah, our research team decided that undertaking a study on this research gap will lead to more discoveries. Our team put forward 4 research recommendations that stakeholders should address. Training programs should be given to teachers so that they could adapt their pedagogical practices to suit the interior and island schools so that students do not suffer learning loss. The study also helps the State Education Department and District Education Officers to identify the basic needs in implementing teaching and learning in a pandemic era in all schools, especially in the interior and island schools. Officers from the State Education Department and School Improvement Specialist coaches could provide the aid according to the respective contexts as successfully through proper and appropriate planning. The research provided a true reflection of teachers' pedagogical practices that could lead to the formation of teaching and learning theories aligned to realistic needs of both teachers and students. Research such as this, which receive less attention, would provide and add to current knowledge on teachers' pedagogical practices and needs of teachers in Sabah, Malaysia, and the Asia-Pacific region. Increased knowledge based on data-driven initiatives would enrich information sharing that are accurate and legitimate for lecturers and students in the Institute of Teacher Education in meeting challenges of a VUCA world. Our research objective and question focus on identifying teachers' perception on pedagogical practices during the COVID-19 pandemic among teachers in the interior and island schools in Sabah from the aspects of planning, implementation, and assessment. Our team also conducted a quantitative study through a questionnaire survey to collect data. A total of 346 respondents consisting of teachers teaching in schools located in the interior and islands of Sabah. The questionnaire was adapted from past studies and contained a 5-point Likert scale for items in 4 sections. Section A was the respondents' demographic. Section B was on the teacher's knowledge level on ICT. Section C centered on teachers' perception on their pedagogical practices from the aspects of planning, implementation, and assessment. And Section D focused on teachers' perception on problems faced in carrying out their teaching during the COVID-19 pandemic. In addition, this study provided the opportunity for teachers to suggest improvements in implementing home-based teaching and learning in the future via an open-ended question. The duration for completion of the survey was 1 month from 1st to 30th of June 2020 to ensure teachers had sufficient time to gain access to internet connections. Prior to the actual data collection, a pilot study was carried out in 2 schools, which were a school in the Island District as well as another school in the interior, consisting of 40 teachers. The Cronbach Alpha showed a reliability level of 0.981 that indicated that the questionnaire items was reliable at a high level and appropriate for this study. The statistical analysis used was descriptive and only taking the mean score. Determination of teachers' knowledge perception level was measured based on the interpretation of the mean score as recommended by Jamil 2002 and Zahara Aziz et al. 2009, whereby the mean score of 1 to 2.33 is low, 2.34 to 3.66 is average, and 3.67 to 5 is high. This table reveals that 196 respondents were in the interior schools and 150 or 43.4% came from island schools. As for teaching experience, the highest number of 192 respondents out of the 346 respondents who taught in the interior or island schools had more than 11 years of teaching exposure. A total of 99 had less than 5 years of experience, while the final group of 55 or 15.9% had 6 to 10 years experience. In addressing our research question, the overall summary indicated a high level of knowledge, taking into consideration the mean score of 3.67. Nonetheless, a mean score of 3.67 was the highest and average scores based on the interpretation levels set for this study. These findings reflected the steps the Ministry of Education took in providing the guidelines in conducting home-based teaching learning during the controlled movement order to ensure students' learning remains sound. These guidelines provided new teachers with the confidence to implement their teaching through the online medium of delivery. These findings also showed alignment to the research done by Muhammad Rohiman et al. 2021 on 3 excellent teachers. These excellent teachers were ready to carry out their teaching and learning via the online approach by using appropriate materials to attract their students to participate actively in their online learning. In terms of limitations to our study, an in-depth understanding of the teacher's perception was limited to the quantitative data collected. The sole open-ended question provided was limited to the short answers provided by the respondents. Our recommendations: there should be more training on ICT skills to help with home-based teaching and learning. There should be more workshops on online home-based teaching and learning targeted at specific locality, and there should be a need to address parents' role and skills in guiding and helping out with home-based teaching and learning. In conclusion, understanding a pandemic and how it affects the education system should be a major focus in any initiatives, especially by policymakers, to ensure the education system continues to function effectively in the future. The recent pandemic influenced the way students learn, teaching styles, parents' livelihood at home, school, and the school environment. Understanding society and its context is another key factor towards ensuring more effective planning. Challenges to teaching of learning in schools are different for each location. This signals the need for support, planned according to locality, to ensure equity in education is achieved even during the pandemic, as stated in a Malaysian education blueprint. With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.